November 24th, 2009, a group of friends drove out to the Utah desert for what they expected to be a casual caving adventure. The destination was Nutty Putty Cave, a volcanic cave system near Salt Lake City, known for its tight passages and challenging crawl spaces. It was a popular spot for thrill seekers. Families had been there. College students had been there. It seemed manageable. John Jones was 26 years old, a medical student, a father. His wife Emily was at home, pregnant with their second child. He had been to caves before. He knew what he was getting into. Or so he thought. The group arrived as night fell. They strapped on their headlamps, grabbed their gear, and disappeared into the dark opening in the earth. Inside, the cave is a maze of narrow passages, twisting tunnels, and chambers that squeeze the human body to its absolute limit. The air is cold and damp. The walls press in from every side. It is not a place for the claustrophobic. But for adventurers, that tightness, that edge, is exactly the appeal. The group moved deeper, lights flickering against wet stone, the sound of breathing, the scrape of boots against rock, the occasional laugh echoing through the dark. And then John found a passage. It was tight, barely wide enough to squeeze through. He thought it might be a well-known route called the Birth Canal, a challenging but navigable squeeze that experienced cavers often attempted. He pushed forward, head first, arms at his sides, inching deeper into the dark. But it wasn't the Birth Canal. John had entered an unmapped section of the cave, a narrow descending crevice that angled sharply downward. He was moving head first, downhill, and the deeper he went, the tighter it got. The rock pressed against his chest, against his shoulders, against his hips. He tried to back out. He couldn't. The physics of the cave worked against him entirely. Head first, downward, in a passage barely wider than his own body. There was almost no way to generate the leverage needed to push back up. Every attempt shifted him slightly further down. The rock held him like a fist. John Jones was trapped. He was upside down, roughly 400 feet inside the cave, in a passage so tight that rescuers would later describe it as almost unimaginable. His legs were above him. His head was below. His body was bent at a desperate angle with almost no room to move. He called for help. His brother Josh, who was with the group, heard him and immediately went for assistance. Within the hour, emergency services were notified. Cave rescue teams began arriving at the entrance of Nutty Putty Cave. What followed was one of the most desperate rescue operations in American caving history. Getting to John was itself a major undertaking. Rescuers had to navigate the same twisted passages to even reach him. When they finally did, when they squeezed their way through the dark and found John Jones inverted in that narrow crack of rock, the scale of the problem became clear. He was conscious, he was talking. But he was stuck. Deeply, completely stuck, and the position he was in, upside down, on a steep incline, blood pooling toward his head, was not just uncomfortable, it was medically dangerous. Prolonged inversion causes blood pressure to spike in the brain. Fluid accumulates, the heart works harder. Over time, the body begins to fail. Rescue teams improvised. They assembled a pulley system inside the cave, ropes, anchors, mechanical advantage, all crammed into a space barely large enough for one person to work in. They attached ropes to John's legs. They coordinated pulls. They worked in shifts, rotating in and out of the cramped passage, communicating through the dark. At one point, hope. The system engaged. John moved, just slightly. But he moved. Rescuers called out encouragement. John responded. For a brief moment it seemed like they had found the angle, found the force, found the way out. And then the rope pulley system anchor failed. John slid back, further than before. Hours had passed, more than 24 hours since he had first become trapped. The temperature in the cave hovered near 50 degrees. John's body had been inverted for an extraordinary length of time. His heart, under immense stress from the sustained inversion, began to fail. Rescue teams made one final attempt. They coordinated, re-rigged and pulled. But John Jones had gone quiet. At 9:25 in the evening on November 25, 2009, John Jones was pronounced dead. Still inside the cave, still in the same position he had been in for more than 28 hours. The decision was made that recovering his body was not possible without putting additional lives at risk. His family was notified, and then, after long, painful deliberation, the decision was made to seal the cave. Workers pumped concrete into the entrance of Nutty Putty Cave. The cave was closed permanently, not just to prevent further accidents, but because John Jones still lies within it. Nutty Putty Cave became his tomb. His wife Emily later spoke publicly about that night, about waiting for news, about knowing something was wrong, about the moment she found out. She described John as a devoted husband, a loving father, a man who brought light into every room he entered. He was 26 years old. His daughter was born weeks after his death. The story of John Jones does not have a lesson that makes it easier to bear. There is no simple moral. A man went into a cave on an ordinary evening and never came home. A family was changed forever. A mountain in Utah holds a silence now, sealed in concrete and shadow. And somewhere beneath the surface of the earth, in a crack in the rock too narrow to describe, John Jones remains. Some places, once entered, do not let you go.